When the first light of dawn touches the earth, the world seems to whisper an invitation. It is a quiet moment before the rush, before the noise, before the endless demands of the day arrive at your door. In this fragile space of morning, you stand at a threshold. The question is simple but profound. Will you let the world shape you today, or will you choose to shape yourself first? Most people wake up and reach for their phones, letting the voices of strangers, the headlines, the chaos of the world dictate their first thoughts. But you are not most people. You understand that the very first voice you hear should not belong to the outside world. It should belong to you. Because the words you speak to yourself in the silence of morning do not simply vanish into the air. They take root. They become the soil of your reality, the foundation of your choices and the rhythm of your day. This is where transformation begins. Not with grand actions, not with crowded calendars or endless striving, but with intention. And intention begins with language. Every word you declare to yourself is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Speak of fear, and fear takes form. Speak of strength, and strength awakens. Speak of purpose, and the day begins to move in rhythm with your vision. These are not just affirmations. They are anchors, pulling you back to who you truly are beneath the noise, beyond the fear, above the distractions. Every morning is a chance to write a new story, to command the day instead of being dragged by it. The world will always try to define you, to assign you roles, labels, and expectations. But before anyone else has a chance to speak, you must speak to yourself. And so, the practice begins. With each sunrise, you remind yourself of the truths that cannot be shaken. You do not just survive the day, you lead it, shape it, and own it. For the most powerful change you will ever experience starts here, in the sacred stillness of morning, with the words you choose to believe. There is a moment each morning when you must decide who you are. The echoes of yesterday often rise like ghosts, whispering of failures, regrets, and wounds that still ache. They tell you that you are defined by what has already happened, by mistakes you cannot erase, by people who hurt you, and by chances you never took. But today, as the sun climbs over the horizon, you are faced with a truth more powerful than the past. You are not bound by what was. You are the architect of what will be. The past is heavy, and it clings to the heart like chains. Some of us carry memories of broken trust, shattered dreams, or decisions that haunt us long after the moment has passed. But if you listen carefully, you'll hear another voice beneath the noise. A voice reminding you that the past was never meant to be your prison. It was meant to be your teacher. The mistakes you made, the pain you endured, the people who left, they were chapters, not the title of your story. They were stepping stones, not life sentences. The power of this truth lies in permission. Permission to begin again. No one has to grant it to you. You do not need a certificate or the approval of those who once doubted you. You hold the pen, and with every sunrise you are given a blank page. Imagine your life as a house under construction. Every morning you wake with a new brick in your hand, a brick made of choice, action, and thought. You can choose to keep stacking the same old bricks from yesterday's ruins, building walls around yourself that block out possibility. Or you can choose to build forward, laying foundations of strength, pillars of vision, and windows wide enough to let light pour in. This is not to say the past did not happen. It did. The scars are real, the failures were painful, the disappointments carved deep lines into your soul. But the architect does not ignore ruins. The architect studies them. They see space where others see rubble. They draw new plans where others only see collapse. And that is your calling. To see yourself not as broken, but as becoming. To take the blueprint back into your own hands. It is easy to become a prisoner of repetition, rehearsing old wounds, telling yourself the same tired story until it becomes identity. You may have been betrayed, but you are not betrayal itself. You may have failed, but you are not failure. You may have lived in fear, but fear is not who you are. Growth begins when you stop letting history hold the pen to your destiny. Growth begins when you say, I decide what happens next. And yes, fear will try to stop you. The fear of failing again will whisper that it is safer to stay the same. But that fear is proof you are dreaming bigger this time. Architects are not timid. They are bold enough to sketch visions others cannot see. They are brave enough to build without waiting for permission. They are relentless enough to keep constructing even when the structure shakes. Every masterpiece begins with a mess. Every great creation begins in uncertainty. Consider this: you are allowed to start again. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday when the stars align. Now, regret does not get to sit at your drafting table. The labels others gave you do not belong on your blueprints. The voices that told you you can't are not qualified to design your life. Your role is not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Being the architect of your future is not about perfection. It is about presence. Each decision you make becomes a brick, each habit a wall, each belief a foundation. If you choose to keep dragging the rubble of the past into the present, your structure will always feel unstable. But if you decide to build with clarity and intention, your future will rise like a cathedral of resilience and strength. Close your eyes and imagine the future you long for. Imagine the strength, the peace, the freedom you crave. That vision is your blueprint. Every action you take can be aligned with it. When doubt creeps in, you lay a brick of courage. When weariness comes, you lay a brick of discipline. When fear roars, you lay a brick of faith. Slowly, steadily, deliberately, the masterpiece begins to take form. Remember this: the past does not vanish. It becomes part of the story, yes, but not the end of it. The ruins remain, but they no longer hold the power to limit you unless you choose to keep living among them. Some people will see only what broke you. They will remind you of who you used to be, replaying your old mistakes as though they define you. But you know better. You are not the person you were when you did not know better. You are not trapped in the moment you stumbled. You are the builder rising from the rubble, brick by brick, truth by truth. Every day you face a choice: relive the past or design the future. The past is familiar, but it cannot sustain you. The future is uncertain, but it is alive with possibility. The architect does not fear uncertainty. They embrace it as the canvas of creation. And so, with courage in your chest and vision in your eyes, you stand before the blueprint of your life and declare, I am not my past. I am the architect of my future. In a world that never stops moving, peace has become one of the rarest treasures. The streets roar with traffic, screens buzz with endless updates, and voices clamor for your attention from every direction. From the moment you wake, you are pulled into the whirlwind. Messages, deadlines, opinions, noise, and yet, within you, there is a quiet place, an inner sanctuary waiting to be protected. That place is your peace, and your peace is your power. It is easy to dismiss peace as softness, as luxury, as something to enjoy only when the storm has passed. But real peace is not found after the storm. It is the calm that allows you to walk through it without being destroyed. Peace is not weakness. Peace is strength. It is the foundation upon which clarity, wisdom, and resilience are built. And when you learn to guard it as the most valuable treasure you possess, you discover that no one and nothing can shake you without your permission. Think of the times when you lost your peace, when someone's words pierced you, when a crisis shook your nerves, when the pressure of expectations drowned your spirit. In those moments, you may have felt powerless, reactive, scattered. But when you stand in peace, when you defend it like sacred ground, you cannot be manipulated. You do not react, you respond. You do not beg, you choose. You do not cling, you attract. Peace sharpens your intuition, so you can sense what aligns with you and what drains you. Protecting your peace begins with boundaries. Not every call deserves an answer. Not every opinion requires a rebuttal. Not every invitation merits your presence. To choose peace is to become strategic with your energy, guarding it as if it were gold. This is not selfishness, it is wisdom. A person at peace carries a presence that cannot be disturbed, a frequency that only the right people recognize. Those who thrive on chaos cannot remain where peace is prioritized, and those who value you will honor the boundaries you set. There is immense power in silence. In a world addicted to noise, silence becomes a weapon. Walking away can be an act of wisdom. Not explaining yourself can be a mark of strength, because when you truly know yourself, you no longer need to prove yourself. Peace frees you from the exhausting cycle of defending, explaining, and pleasing. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight, and you focus your energy on what truly matters. This shift transforms relationships. The wrong people begin to drift away, while the right people, the ones aligned with your truth, are drawn toward you. When you operate from peace, you stop tolerating emotional chaos, draining conversations and misaligned energy. You realize that love is not supposed to feel like survival mode. Friendship is not supposed to feel like constant conflict. Work is not supposed to feel like drowning. True alignment begins where peace resides. To protect your peace, you must also protect your nervous system. You are not designed to live in perpetual fight or flight, constantly reacting to drama, urgency, and dysfunction. You are not here to confuse intensity with love, busyness with importance, or noise with truth. Peace reminds you to slow down, to breathe, to reclaim your rhythm. It allows you to live from a centered state, not a frantic one. Every no you say to misaligned demands is a yes to your peace. Every pause before responding is an act of mastery. Every moment you spend sitting in stillness with yourself, without fear of loneliness or distraction, strengthens your soul. And when you find that you are whole, even in silence, you discover the deepest truth. Peace is not something you wait for, it is something you create and defend. Make no mistake, the world will test your peace. People will try to provoke you, situations will tempt you to react, and life will throw storms that rattle your confidence. But each time, you are faced with the same decision. Will you let the storm inside you, or will you remain still as the storm passes around you? The one who guards their peace is unshakable, not because life is easy, but because they refuse to let life dictate their inner world. Today, and every day, you must treat your peace like treasure. Guard it from those who have not earned the right to touch it. Protect it from the urgency of the world, its demands, and its noise. Because once you lose your peace, you lose your power. But when you claim it, there is nothing and no one that can take it from you. So remind yourself each morning, my peace is my power, and I protect it like treasure. With peace in your soul, your voice becomes stronger, your vision clearer, and your path more aligned. You no longer need to push, chase, or force. Your frequency draws what is right to you, and when you stand in that frequency, in the unshakable stillness of peace, you are not just surviving, you are commanding your life. From the moment we were children, we were taught to chase. Chase approval, chase attention, chase success. But chasing always implies that something is running away from you, that what you desire is outside of you, always slipping just beyond your grasp. And yet, the truth has always been simpler, quieter, stronger. You do not have to chase what was meant for you. You attract it by becoming it. Chasing is born from desperation, from fear, from the hidden belief that you are not enough on your own. It looks like running endlessly, exhausting yourself for scraps of attention, or bending until you break just to be chosen. And when you chase, you abandon yourself in pursuit of someone or something else. Attraction, on the other hand, is born from embodiment. You attract not by begging, but by becoming. You attract what matches your energy, your standards, and your self-worth. And when you finally realize this, something shifts. You stop shrinking, you stop pleading, you stop proving. You begin to stand tall, radiating confidence, knowing that what is yours will find you. Think of a magnet. It does not chase what it attracts. It simply holds its frequency, and what aligns with it comes effortlessly. You are that magnet when you live in alignment with your truth. You do not chase love, success, or respect. You embody the energy that draws them naturally. This is a quiet rebellion against everything the world has taught you. It says, I will not beg for my place. I will not chase what does not want to stay. I will not abandon myself just to be seen. Instead, you stand still, rooted in dignity, and allow what is aligned to recognize you. This does not mean you sit idle or wait passively for life to hand you blessings. You still act, but your action is no longer driven by fear or scarcity. It is guided by clarity and self-worth. You walk forward steadily, creating space for the right people, the right opportunities, the right life to flow toward you. Imagine walking into a crowded room, not trying to impress, not performing, not competing. And yet, people notice. They notice the way you carry yourself, the calm assurance in your eyes, the dignity in your silence. That is attraction. It is magnetic, undeniable, effortless. To attract means to trust. It means patience. It means faith that what belongs to you cannot miss you, and what misses you was never meant to stay. It means no longer chasing people who devalue you or situations that demand you abandon yourself. It means knowing that alignment takes time and that patience is its own kind of power. This mindset transforms the way you love. You no longer settle for half love, for conditional affection, for someone who only chooses you when it is convenient. Instead, you attract love that honors you, love that mirrors the respect you already carry for yourself. It transforms the way you succeed. No longer do you beg for opportunities, force connections, or hustle for recognition. You attract meaningful work, aligned opportunities, and authentic success because you finally embody the worth that calls them forth. And perhaps most importantly, it transforms the way you see yourself. You no longer see lack where there is potential. You no longer believe you must chase to be worthy. You realize you were never lacking. You were always magnetic, always enough. You only needed to remember. So speak this truth to yourself. I don't chase. I attract. I attract what aligns with my worth. Speak it until it becomes your knowing. Speak it until your energy shifts, until your presence itself feels like a declaration. And when you live in that truth, something miraculous happens. The universe mirrors your self-respect. People meet you at your standard. Opportunities arrive with perfect timing. You stop running because there is no need. You are no longer chasing. You are attracting. And attraction, born of self-worth, is unstoppable. Discomfort is the great teacher that most of us try to avoid. We run from it. We hide from it. We treat it as punishment. Yet the truth is that growth never happens inside the comfort zone. Growth happens when life stretches you, when it places you in moments that shake your stability, when the ground beneath you feels uncertain. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the assignment. Every difficult moment, every challenge, every situation that makes your heart pound or your hands tremble is not here to break you. It is here to shape you. Think of the diamond. It does not form in gentle conditions. It is forged under pressure, carved by forces that would crush anything weaker. Steel does not harden without fire. Muscle does not grow without resistance. Why would your spirit be any different? The parts of you that are untested will remain soft until discomfort arrives to strengthen them. And if you dare to face discomfort, not as punishment but as preparation, you unlock a power you never knew you carried. When you run from discomfort, you prolong your own stagnation. You stay trapped in cycles of fear, cycles of avoidance, cycles of smallness. But when you lean in, when you ask not, "Why is this happening to me?" but, "What is this trying to teach me?" suddenly, the challenge becomes sacred. The discomfort becomes a mirror, showing you where you are still wounded, where you still fear, where your boundaries are too thin, where your self-worth still needs anchoring. The lesson is always present, but it can only be learned if you are willing to sit in the unease. Consider the difficult conversations you have avoided because they made your chest tighten. Within them lies your chance to grow in courage, in honesty, in clarity. Consider the emotions you numb or silence because they make you uneasy. Within them lies your healing. Consider the opportunities you avoided because they required stepping into the unknown. Within them lies your expansion. Every place you feel discomfort is a doorway to growth. If only you would step through instead of stepping away. Yes, it will feel awkward. Yes, it may feel lonely. Growth often feels like walking into a storm while everyone else stays inside. But storms sharpen you. Storms strip away what is weak and reveal what is strong. They teach you resilience. They teach you how to bend without breaking. They teach you that you can stand in chaos and still remain rooted. This is why the souls who evolved the fastest are not the ones who avoid pain, but the ones who meet it with curiosity. They walk into the fire and say, "Let me see what this heat can make of me." They step into discomfort with a student's heart, eager to learn, even if the lesson costs them their comfort. They understand that every awkward silence, every heavy challenge, every difficult emotion is molding them into someone wiser, stronger, deeper. When you live with this mindset, you stop begging for an easier life and start asking for a stronger spirit. You stop wishing for comfort and start wishing for clarity. You stop praying that the storm passes quickly and instead pray for the courage to dance in the rain. Because once you embrace discomfort, you realize it is not the enemy. It is the doorway to the next level of yourself. So the next time you feel unease, breathe and remind yourself, "This is my classroom." The moment you lean into discomfort, it begins to lose its power to frighten you. What once felt unbearable begins to feel like training. What once made you shrink begins to make you rise. And as you rise, you discover a strength you never imagined you had. Discomfort does not mean you are failing. It means you are evolving. It means you are stretching beyond what was familiar, stepping into the territory of growth. And yes, it will test you. It will challenge your patience, your confidence, your faith. But every test passed becomes a new foundation on which to build. Every discomfort endured becomes a new layer of strength that no one can take from you. So, show up for your classroom. Show up not as a victim of discomfort, but as a willing student. Let discomfort be the sculptor, the fire, the resistance that brings out your truest form. Do not resist it. Rise through it. Let it sharpen you. Let it mold you. Let it strip away the smallness you've outgrown. Because one day you will look back on the moments that made you tremble, and you will realize they were the very moments that made you unshakable. Say it aloud, say it often, and say it with conviction. Discomfort is my classroom, and I show up ready to grow. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the weight of yesterday threatens to crush the promise of today. It lingers like a shadow, whispering accusations, rehearsing old mistakes, and replaying moments you wish you could undo. You remember the words you spoke in anger, the choices you regret, the times you stumbled when you should have stood tall, and the more you replay them, the more they wrap around your spirit like chains, binding you to a past you can no longer change. But forgiveness, true, deep, soul-level forgiveness, is the key that unlocks those chains. It is the voice that says, I am no longer my mistakes. I am the lesson they gave me. Forgiving yourself is one of the most radical acts of liberation. It means choosing not to punish yourself forever for being human. It means acknowledging your flaws with compassion instead of judgment, and meeting the broken pieces of yourself with tenderness. You see, the world teaches us how to apologize to others, but not how to extend that same grace inward. We are taught to move on quickly, to suppress guilt, or to drown it in distractions. But healing cannot grow from suppression. It grows only when you are willing to face your own imperfection, to cradle it gently, and to say, I forgive you. Think of the child who stumbles while learning to walk. You would never scold that child for falling. You would not shame them for failing. You would lift them up, encourage them, remind them they are learning. Yet how often do we deny ourselves that same compassion? We drag our mistakes like heavy stones, punishing ourselves long after the lesson has already been taught. Guilt is heavy armor, but it is not protection. It is a prison. Shame is a shadow, but it is not truth. The moment you forgive yourself, the chains fall, the weight lifts, the light returns. Grace does not erase the past, but it redeems the present. It says, yes, I stumbled, but today I rise, yes, I fell, but today I walk forward lighter. To forgive yourself is to allow yourself to be human. It is not denial of the past, but acceptance that growth takes time, that mistakes are part of becoming. It is the gentle act of meeting your reflection and saying, you are still worthy, you are still enough, you are still allowed to move forward. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are proof of survival. Each one is a mark of the battles you have walked through, the lessons you have earned. Forgiveness is what turns scars into symbols of strength instead of sources of shame. It says, I will not keep reopening wounds. I will let them heal into wisdom. This is not a one-time act. Forgiveness is a daily practice. Every morning, when the echoes of yesterday return, you must choose again. You must speak grace louder than guilt. You must whisper to your own heart, I forgive you. And the more you repeat it, the more your soul begins to believe it. Do not confuse forgiveness with weakness. It is strength. It takes courage to look yourself in the eye and choose love instead of punishment. It takes bravery to meet your own reflection and not flinch. Grace is the reset button that says, I honor who I was, but I am becoming someone greater. Yesterday may have been messy, but today I can still paint something beautiful. I choose not to drag the weight of yesterday into the gift of today. So speak it like a vow, not once, but every day. I forgive myself for yesterday and I choose grace today. This is how healing takes root. This is how transformation begins. Your past shaped you, but it does not sentence you. Grace is the gift you must stop withholding from yourself. Because the future belongs not to the one who stays chained to yesterday, but to the one who learns to let go, to love, to rise. And today, that one is you. There comes a point in life when you realize that settling for half love, for half respect, for half attention is no longer an option. You realize that you were not born to be tolerated. You were born to be celebrated. You were not meant to be placed on a shelf, waiting for someone else's indecision to clear. You were meant to be chosen fully, with clarity, with intention, with presence. Too many hearts have spent years in waiting rooms of maybe and someday. Too many souls have dimmed their own light just to fit into someone else's shadow. We learn early to compromise, to chase approval, to accept crumbs and call them a feast. But deep down, you know the truth. You were never created to be anyone's backup plan. You are not the second choice, the almost, the what if. You are the standard. And being the standard means raising your head even when others overlook you. It means knowing that being overlooked is not rejection, but redirection. It means remembering that someone else's inability to see your worth does not diminish your worth. Their blindness is not your burden. When you carry yourself like the standard, everything shifts. You stop begging for attention from those who only reach out when it is convenient. You stop shrinking yourself just to be palatable. You stop negotiating with people who cannot meet you where you are. You begin to stand tall, anchored in the truth that your energy is valuable, your love is rare, your presence is a privilege. The standard does not beg, it does not perform, it does not prove. It simply is. Rooted in self-respect, grounded in dignity, radiant in quiet confidence. The standard knows that love given halfway is not love. The standard knows that promises without actions are not commitment. The standard knows that being put on hold is a sign to walk forward, not to wait. You must understand that living as the standard is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is refusing to participate in dynamics that diminish you. It is refusing to accept crumbs when you were made for the feast. It is refusing to lower your vibration to match someone else's hesitation. This path is not easy. Sometimes it means being alone. Sometimes it means walking away from the almosts, the if-onlys, the maybes. But in that sacred space of solitude, your worth blooms. You begin to see yourself clearly. You begin to realize that what you bring to the table is not something to be bargained with. It is something to be honored. When you embody the standard, you raise the bar for everything around you. Not only in relationships, but in how you speak to yourself, how you treat your body, how you allow others to access your energy. You begin to guard your space with reverence. You begin to align only with those who meet you with truth, consistency, and intention. And here is the truth. Once you declare yourself as the standard, the world adjusts. People who cannot rise to meet you will fall away. But those who can, they will meet you with reverence, with clarity, with presence. They will not question your worth. They will honor it. They will not ask you to shrink. They will expand with you. They will not keep you waiting in indecision. They will choose you fully. This declaration is not just about love. It is about every corner of your life. It is about refusing to be someone's option in friendships, refusing to be a placeholder in careers, refusing to play small in your dreams. It is about standing so firmly in your knowing that your very presence commands respect. So, today, lift your head higher. Walk with a quiet authority that does not need to shout, but cannot be ignored. Let your boundaries be firm, your standards unwavering, your self-love undeniable. Stop chasing those who cannot see you. Stop settling for halfway. Stop allowing yourself to be treated as temporary when you are eternal. Look into the mirror and remind yourself, I am the standard. Not an option, not a backup plan, not a placeholder. I am the prize. I am the feast. I am the full presence of love, dignity, and truth. And those who cannot see it are simply not meant to sit at my table. Because the moment you stop lowering yourself to be chosen, you discover something powerful. You were already chosen. By life, by love, by the divine spark within you. You are not waiting to be validated. You are living as validation itself. And that, more than anything, is the mark of one who knows they are the standard. So declare it, live it, embody it. The world will either rise to meet you or fall away. And either way, you remain whole. Either way, you remain enough. Either way, you remain the standard. There comes a time when you realize that your attention is the most valuable currency you will ever own. The world will try to convince you that money is power, that influence is power, that control is power. But if you look closely, you will see the truth. Your focus is your freedom, and the way you direct it determines the quality of your life. Every distraction that pulls at you is a thief in disguise, stealing from the garden of your peace. Every unnecessary argument, every need for approval, every attempt to fix what was never yours to fix, they all drain the sacred energy you were meant to pour into your growth, your vision, your calling. Imagine how many hours, how many days, how many years of your life have been spent worrying about things that were never within your control. People who never saw your worth, opinions that never truly mattered, outcomes that were never yours to command. You replay conversations, obsess over rejections, chase closure from those who cannot give it, and all the while your energy leaks out like water through open hands. But the moment you reclaim your focus, something shifts. You are no longer tossed around by the winds of other people's expectations. You are no longer enslaved by the chaos of every passing storm. You step into alignment with a deeper truth. I decide where my energy flows, and by deciding that, I decide who I become. Focus is not about doing more. It is about doing less with greater clarity. It is about trimming the noise, cutting away what does not serve you, and pouring your time into the few things that carry the most weight. It is about refusing to let your mind become a playground for endless distraction, a battlefield of other people's problems, a graveyard of what-ifs and maybes. When your focus sharpens, your path becomes brighter. You no longer scatter your energy across 100 worries. You channel it like a beam of light into what actually matters. The truth is, most of us are not exhausted because of how much we do. We are exhausted because of how much we try to control. We try to control how people see us, how situations unfold, how the future will arrive. We live as if everything depends on our grip, our effort, our need to manage. But there is no peace in that, only anxiety. Real freedom comes when you understand the difference between what is yours to carry and what is not. You cannot control someone else's choices, but you can control how you respond. You cannot control the storms of life, but you can control whether you meet them with fear or with calm. You cannot control the outcome, but you can control your effort. This is the secret the world rarely teaches. When you let go of what you cannot control, you gain power over what you can. And when you guard that power, when you refuse to waste it on what is beyond you, you step into a level of freedom that no one can take away. You stop being a prisoner of circumstances. You stop being manipulated by noise. You stop scattering your energy on things that will never return your investment. Instead, you begin to grow. You begin to create. You begin to thrive. Picture yourself walking through a marketplace filled with noise, vendors shouting, people pulling at your sleeve, distractions in every direction. If you stop at every stall, if you answer every call, you will leave drained, your hands full of things you never needed. But if you walk with clarity, with discipline, with focus, you leave with exactly what you came for. Life is that marketplace, and your focus is the compass that guides you through it. You will notice that the more you protect your focus, the more peace you have. And the more peace you have, the stronger your decisions become. Suddenly, you no longer need to win every argument. You no longer chase every apology. You no longer feel the urge to prove your worth to those committed to misunderstanding you. You have outgrown that. You have stepped into something greater. You are now free. And this freedom is not passive. It is powerful. It is the strength to remain centered while the world spins. It is the courage to say no without guilt. It is the wisdom to invest your time where it multiplies instead of where it drains. It is the discipline to walk away from chaos, not because you are weak, but because you value your energy too deeply to waste it. So remember this truth: your focus is your freedom. Protect it like a sacred flame. Do not allow every passing shadow to smother it. Do not give it away cheaply to those who cannot hold it with care. Guard it as if your future depends on it, because it does. When you stop wasting energy on what you cannot control, you finally have the strength to master what you can. And in that mastery, you rise. There comes a point in every journey where you realize the thing you were searching for was never outside of you. It was within you all along. We are born into a world that trains us to look outward, to seek approval from parents, validation from teachers, acceptance from friends, recognition from society. From the very beginning, we are told, you are enough, but only if they say so. And so we spend years chasing, begging, striving, waiting for some sign outside of us to confirm what was already planted inside the moment we took our first breath. The truth is, everything you need is already within you. The wisdom, the courage, the strength, the clarity, it has always been there, waiting for you to remember. Think of how many times you doubted yourself, asking others for permission to step into your own light. How many times you silenced your voice, believing someone else's judgment carried more weight than your truth. How often you ignored your instincts, only to look back and realize they were right all along. This is not because you are weak. It is because you were conditioned to forget your own power. The world benefits from your doubt. Systems thrive when you believe you are incomplete, when you believe you must purchase worth, chase titles, or earn love. But the moment you awaken to the fact that the treasure is already inside, you become untouchable. Inside of you is courage that is yet to be tested. Inside of you is creativity waiting for expression. Inside of you is resilience that will outlast storms you cannot yet imagine. And every time you stop outsourcing your power and begin listening to that quiet voice within, you tap into a source that no one can take away. Your intuition is not broken. It is buried beneath layers of fear and noise. Your strength has not disappeared. It has been waiting for you to call it forward. You do not need to be rescued. You need to remember. This remembering is not arrogance. It is alignment. To act like everything you need is already within you is to live in radical self-responsibility. It means no longer saying, I can't because I don't know how, but instead saying, I will figure it out. It means replacing, I am not enough, with, what part of me have I not discovered yet? It means no longer waiting for the perfect teacher, mentor, or opportunity to appear, but recognizing that while others can guide you, they cannot walk the path for you. You must rise on your own feet, with your own strength, from your own knowing. Imagine the shift that happens when you stop begging for someone to choose you, and instead choose yourself. Imagine the confidence that radiates when you stop trying to prove your worth, and instead embody it. Imagine the life you build when every decision is rooted not in fear of lack, but in trust of your abundance. This is not blind optimism, it is grounded truth. Because when you act like everything you need is already inside, you begin to activate it. You discover skills you never knew you had. You uncover courage you never thought you could hold. You tap into clarity that makes the path ahead brighter than it has ever been. Of course, there will be moments of doubt, moments when the old conditioning creeps back in. You will hear the whisper that says, "You are not ready." But now you know the truth. Readiness is not something you wait for, it is something you choose. You are ready when you decide to act, even if your hands shake, even if your voice trembles. Because action awakens the strength that doubt tried to bury. Every time you take a step forward, you prove to yourself that the power was always there. And so, let this be your reminder. You are not lacking, you are layered. You are not incomplete, you are unfolding. Every challenge that rises before you is not a sign of weakness, but an invitation to reveal more of what has always been inside. Every victory you celebrate is not something given to you, but something born from you. You have always carried the flame. You simply forgot to light it. So when you wake up tomorrow and the world tries to convince you that you are missing something, remind yourself, I already have what I need. When fear tells you that you are not strong enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough, remember that fear is a lie and the truth is within you. And when you are tempted to wait for someone else to open the door for you, remember, you were born with the key. Everything you need is already within you. Say it until you believe it. Live it until you embody it. And when you finally rise into that truth, nothing in this world will ever have the power to make you doubt it again. Some mornings feel heavier than others. You wake up carrying the weight of yesterday's failures, the noise of last week's struggles, the shadows of fears you thought you left behind. Before you even open your eyes, your mind begins rehearsing doubts, replaying mistakes, reminding you of everything unfinished. But here is the truth. Today is not just another day. It is another opportunity to rise. The opportunity is not found in perfection or in waiting for everything to be aligned. It is hidden in the small but powerful choice to get up despite the heaviness, to breathe despite the pressure, to stand despite the shaking. Rising is not loud. It is consistent. It is not always about roaring strength, but about the whisper that says, try again. Too many people will scroll past this sunrise as if it were owed to them, forgetting that life is a gift denied to millions. The fact that you are here, awake, alive, breathing, is already proof that you have been given another chance. Another page, another blank canvas, another sunrise that says, begin again. Rising means becoming more of who you are meant to be, even when the world pulls you back into who you used to be. Rising means choosing courage when fear shouts louder. It means showing up when you are tired, standing firm when you are tempted to shrink, and daring to dream even when doubt mocks you. To rise is to declare with your life, I am still here. Rising does not always look heroic. Sometimes it is the quiet discipline of working when no one claps. Sometimes it is the choice to walk away from what is toxic. Sometimes it is the trembling honesty of telling your truth, even if your voice shakes. These small acts are the bricks that build the unshakable life. Life is not a recycled rerun. It is a canvas freshly handed to you each morning. You cannot paint something beautiful if you only smear yesterday's mistakes across it. Every choice is a brushstroke, every action a color, every breath a chance to add something new. What masterpiece will you begin today? Rising is not about waiting for perfect moments, but creating moments with presence. It is choosing now, again and again, until the habit of rising becomes who you are. Because it is not one grand gesture that changes your life, but the quiet repetition of standing back up every time you fall. And when you rise, it shows. You stand taller, your eyes shine brighter, your words carry more weight, your love flows deeper. People may not always understand what changed, but they feel it. Because rising changes not only how you move, but how the world moves with you. Remember, when you rise today, you do not rise alone. You rise for the version of you who once doubted it was possible. You rise for those who are watching, quietly hoping someone will show them it can be done. And you rise for the future that is waiting to be built by the strength of your presence now. So, when the sun greets you this morning, don't waste it. Don't scroll past it, don't complain it away, don't let it vanish into routine. See it for what it truly is, a divine invitation to rise. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. Stand taller, speak bolder, love deeper, focus sharper. Today is not just another day, it is your opportunity to rise. The journey we have walked through together has not simply been a list of affirmations, but a call to awaken something deeper inside you. These words, repeated each morning, are more than phrases spoken into the air. They are seeds planted in the soil of your soul. Each seed, when nurtured by your daily choices, has the power to bloom into a life you once only dreamed of. The truth is, your days will not always be easy, and challenges will not simply vanish because you speak these truths aloud. But what changes is you, the way you stand, the way you carry yourself, the way you see possibility where before you only saw limitation. Every morning, as the world stirs awake, you are given a sacred invitation. Not just to survive, not just to repeat yesterday's patterns, but to rise. To remember that you are not your past, to protect your peace, to attract instead of chase, to embrace discomfort as growth, to forgive yourself with grace, to hold yourself as the standard, to guard your focus, to claim the power already within you, and to treat today as the gift that it is. These are not just affirmations, they are anchors. They hold you steady when storms come. They remind you of your worth when doubt creeps in. They call you back to yourself when the noise of the world grows too loud. But the power of these words is not in reciting them once. It is in choosing them, embodying them, living them, again and again, until they shape not just your mornings, but your entire life. Because the person who wakes up and declares these truths is not the same person who goes to bed at night. They are stronger. They are freer. They are closer to the masterpiece they are building with each choice, each action, each rising. So, tomorrow, and the day after, and every day that follows, when the sun rises, let your first voice be your own. Speak life into your soul before the world speaks doubt into your mind. Remember, you have everything you need, and today is always another chance to rise.